camping in Grundy Lake Provincial Park. Part one of our journey took place in strange and Pleasantville, Ontario. Then we were cruising on up to Grundy Lake Provincial Park with a stop in Parry Sound for beer. From Parry Sound, it was just an hour north through lovely lake country to our camping spot at Grundy Lake. We rolled on into Grundy Lake Campground like we had business, and we did. We had a lovely camping spot by the lake. We gals set up the tents while the boys built the fire. Then I made us all a welcome cocktail. I prepped a Mai Tai with all the trimmings. This is the moment that Danny accidentally kicked his over. Goodbye, Mai Tai. Goodbye.
Oh no, Danny!
Not all of it went.
It's not, it's fine.
Half
It's
it
Okay, we'll just pretend. We'll pretend. Cheers.
Danny
was making the first night's dinner, and with the assistance of Paul, we just left the boys to it. We gals headed to the lake. By headed, I mean literally walked about 3 feet. Let me introduce you to the girls. Now, you remember Caroline. She's popping a squat here. She's intrepid. And this is Ruth. You might remember her from my Harry Potter videos. If I turn the sound on, we are singing Skater Boy.
too bad
That you couldn't see the man that boy could be.
There is
More than meets the eye. La la skater boy. By the time we had our lake fun, the sun had set and dinner was ready. It was smoky and steamy, but this is what we had to work with. Danny made a lovely carrot and ginger curry served with garlic naans and salad. I totally slopped yogurt all over mine, but it tasted amazing. Say hello to the chef there, cheeky. We then chilled by the fire, experimenting with glow-in-the-dark drinks, and then it was time to go to bed. We were awoken to the sound of a woodpecker going ham or wood or pecking at a big tree nearby. Nature, isn't it great? With lashings of orange juice, Caroline made us a beautiful breakfast frittata served with cherry tomatoes, bacon and spinach. It was so good. We then burnt off our breakfast and the sins of the night before by going for a lovely hike. Here's Danny and I in the car to tell you all about it. My ear's poking out like a tiny mouse.
I look really pink. I look really red. Why am I burnt in the face?
You actually don't know that red in real life. We're off on a hike, even though I'm not dressed like I'm off on a hike. Trust me, underneath here, hiking attire, Ruth and Paul were following them. They're laughing at us for vlogging. They don't understand. Oh yeah, we lost Caroline. She still exists. She's just in the other car because our car packing situation has kind of exploded. We're going up a hill. Danny was unhappy with the representation that I just gave about the car packing. He's let me know that actually we've just got a lot of stuff.
It is just a lot of stuff, right? And it's like
titillating.
Yeah, I tried to keep it all organised, but
I've got a question. Why do men get so defensive about their car packing?
I'm not defensive. No, I'm not defensive. Am I defensive? No, it's just I think we are too hard on ourselves because it's simply a lot of stuff. It's you know, we shouldn't be trying to have a perfectly packed car.
I'm not trying to have a perfectly packed car. I don't mind.
I mean, this is far from average anyway. Never mind perfect.
Willy-nilly. Anyway, we continue. This hike was not super long and it was nicely marked, good boardwalks. The only thing was that there were quite a lot of bugs flying in our faces, so I had to keep on wearing my big floppy hat. So, were there any beavers on the beaver trail? Hello to you, beaver dam. We saw a beaver dam, but that was about it, which was disappointing, but honestly I've lived in Canada for 5 years and I've never seen a beaver. The views were beautiful and we had a great time snapping and chatting away. And then it was time to head back to our camp because I was making lunch. Oh yeah, When I'm cooking, especially when I'm on holiday, I like to have a glass of wine. I opted for this Rosewood Estate Through the Looking Glass red blend. It's a really nice deep fruit wine with Cab Sauv, Merlot, Cab Franc and Malbec. As you know, camping cooking equipment is pretty basic, but I did my absolute best with what I had. We were having an elevated pesto pasta with plenty of mozzarella because I love cheese. Fresh tomato sauce. Beautiful black olives. Fresh spinach. Mixing it all together. Things were smelling great. I was feeling great. I wouldn't usually eat this heavily at lunch, but we were away and this was a lunch of champions. Lunch was excellent, if I do say so myself, and we sat around on our camp chairs digesting for a bit, which is when we met this curious fellow, a hungry grub. It's a caterpillar. It was a good food day and a good nature day. Then things got pretty real. We decided to blow up our floaties and get in the lake. When they ask me why I love him, I say, for his extreme inflationability. Danny was actually not pleased at me filming him while he was blowing up the inflatables, which I guess is fair. You haven't close-up met Paul yet, so here he is blowing up a unicorn. Paul. We're on the shell. 3 people on the shell. They said it couldn't be done.
Could go wrong.
There they are. They're on a unicorn, out at sea. I proudly declared that Caroline, Ruth and I were the lovely ladies and Danny was our steerman. Paul got off lightly somehow. He always does. We probably should have been more careful with our toes because the next day I saw this snapping turtle. Oh wow. Did you just meow like a cat? He's so big. We don't have things like that in England at all. For the camp cocktail that evening, I made whiskey sours and gin sours, the gin using my favourite Empress gin because it's purple. I like that. Cheers. Ruth and Paul were making chili con carne and it was smelling excellent. We're getting very excited. They also toasted some bread on the fire after giving it a splash of garlic oil and ho 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 ho! Yes, I really enjoyed eating this. Even though we'd had loads to eat that day, this was a very good food day. That night we sat around the fire and I had some magic up my sleeve. Blue flames. We started day 3 with food, obviously. I was cooking again, and today I was making shakshuka for breakfast. It's a Middle Eastern inspired dish with baked eggs in a tomatoey sauce. I added smoked paprika and feta, and it was looking pretty good. I served it up with a sourdough baguette and freshly chopped and smushed avocado. I think this is one of those dishes that tastes better than it looks. Camping, day 3. I'm absolutely covered in bug spray right now. It looks like I've got a deep sweat on. I don't. It's a mixture of bug spray and sun lotion because they got us yesterday.
Yeah, and my lips feel like they're swollen up because I accidentally got bug spray on my lips. They look bigger.
They do look pretty luscious, babe.
I'm like pushing them out as I say that.
They do look luscious. You do have nice... Ooh, it's a bumpy road. We're going on another hike in another piece of wilderness.
What's the name of this one, this trail?
Swan Lake.
Swan Lake.
Swan Lake, which is one of my favourite ballets. So
there you go.
The Swan Lake trail was really pretty. Lots of trees and nice vistas to look out at. We had a great time walking around, but the weather was weird. It was very hot and humid. Hello, Danny. The best thing about our hike is that we saw some really cool nature. Today, I saw a snake. I've seen a snake as well. He's in here, if you can see his head, there it is. He's nicely disguised though. Snake. And can you spot this camouflaged little guy? Look at him there, just being so good at his job. I don't see a frog, do you? Towards the end of the walk, it started to drizzle a little bit, so we decided to head back to our campsite. And this is when the rain really did begin. Raining at all. There's water on the screen though. I tried to lift our spirits with my final night cocktail, a simple Empress gin and tonic with grapefruit, but it really was pouring and we had to cower under a tarp. It is a lovely drink though. After our camp cocktail, we went for another little walk around the site, and again, it really was raining and we started to go a little bit mad. Okay, a lot mad. We headed back to the camp and even then the tarp was starting to give out on us. This is how much water was collecting. Caroline was making risotto for dinner and it is exactly what we needed because we were wet through and through and needed a hot meal. Heavy raining. Final night.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you.
Very wet night.
Good mom, Danny. Okay, good. Great.
I made campfire bananas for dessert, which was banana, marshmallow, chocolate, and a healthy slug of spiced rum. They turned out great, but I stopped filming around this point because, once again, this is how much water we were dealing with. It was an absolute onslaught and my phone was getting really wet. We were packing up the next day, but if you think it got better, it did not. We didn't get very much sleep because it was thundering heavily overnight. This is us in the car the next day.
I look disheveled.
I look disheveled. Do you want to say the first words about what's happening right now?
Well, I thought it was the worst rain I'd seen in years last night until this morning. Take a look.
You can probably barely hear us right now. We had to pack up in a hurry and now we're literally in a car park because we can't really drive in this.
It's a good job we got our phone because we can check to see how long it's going to last for. But I mean, if it says 2 hours like this, then...
In the car park for 2 hours?
In the car park, because I'm not safe onto the main road like this.
The thunder and lightning is scary.
It was difficult even just coming down that road back there. You know, that's a tiny road. I hope it doesn't flood around this area and never get trapped.
Shit.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.